Joe, what are your biggest concerns going into preseason?
Well, I'm concerned with everything, but I mean, if you said the biggest ones, obviously, I think the offensive line, we've got to find a couple of kids that can play. And the wideout situation, I think, is better as you projected than maybe the offensive line would be at this time. I think we have some people who have played that we can play with. And then I think we need another defensive back, maybe two.
Joe, you mentioned the wide receiver situation. You've lost the big three. Brackett and Graham Zug have some experience, but how much are you going to count on somebody like Chaz Powell maybe to fill that Derek Williams kind of role and maybe one of the true freshmen?
Yeah, I think somebody's got it. You got Zug and Brackett and Chaz Powell, and we got a kid by the name of Moy who played some last year. I mean, we have some kids that played. So I think we're. I don't feel as as maybe as urgent as I do to find a couple of offensive linemen, because we really don't have anybody outside of the three kids that have coming back that haven't played much.
Hey Joe, earlier this summer you had said that A.J. Wallace might be in a little trouble because of classes. Have you decided what you're going to do with him moving forward? Will he miss any games, or
Yeah, I've told AJ I might not play him in a game or two because he had cut classes, and if he cuts any more classes, he won't play. I think you got to send a message. No sense sending a message to somebody who's not a player. He's obviously one of our better players, and I think he'll be all right. Now, when I'll play him will depend on what I hear back from our academic advisors, Coker and Brady, and find out whether he's going to class, he's doing what he's supposed to do academically. If he does, then we'll think about when we want to play him.
Joe, say something about having Sean Lee back on the field with this team, how it's affected them. I mean, not just his leadership, but how he is in the huddle and how it affects the team overall.
He hasn't done anything in a long time, so I think he's going to probably feel his way a little bit. But I think once he gets comfortable and once he's sure he's okay, I think he obviously will be a big factor in help us to be good.
Coach, you talked about Chaz Powell a little bit earlier. I guess could you compare and contrast him and Derek Williams? How are they similar?
I miss your first play.
Chaz Powell.
What about him?
How is he similar to Derek Williams? How is he different? And is there any added pressure on a guy like Powell to step in?
Chaz hasn't had the success Derek had either in high school. Chaz has got great potential, but he's too inconsistent right now for us to be, getting on a bandwagon with him. He just needs he's got to stop paying attention to details, little things. He's careless with some things. He's doesn't concentrate sometimes going after the football. So I wouldn't put that thing on his head saying Derek Williams. Derek Williams came in here as a very, very confident, very poised kid who could have played quarterback, could have played running back, could have played wideout. Chaz is in the right spot. I think he could eventually, if he makes up his mind, he's going to do this and go at it and pay attention, as I said earlier, to the little things and learn to get better every day. He could end up being pretty darn good.
Joe, one of your at defensive end, you lost Maven, obviously. Jack Crawford, could you talk about his play and his potential? And have you ever had coached a kid from London before?
I'm sure I coached somebody from London. On top of my head, I can't tell you. But he is. I think what you're suggesting is he's an unusual kid, and he is. He never played football till he came over here. He was a basketball player. Came over here. Some people brought him over as a ward. A very, very lovely family from the Philadelphia area. And he's going to be. He's got a tremendous intensity. He's got really good natural ability. He's particularly he'll play defensive end, a big, long-arm kid. He'll play at about 260, he can run, and I think once he gets a little bit of feel for the game, he'll be pretty darn good, even if he is from London.
I just wonder if you had any thoughts on being ranked number 8 in the coaches poll.
Is that what we were ranked?
Yep.
What's it mean? Does it guarantee us anything? Oh, I don't pay attention to that stuff. I just think it's, it's good for the fans, and, and obviously it's, hopefully maybe it'll sell some tickets. I don't know, but I don't really pay any attention to it.
Are you still taking precautions with Jerome Hayes during practice, and what do you expect from him this coming year?
No, we're taking, I'd say with not a lot of precaution. What we've done is kind of let him, pace himself a little bit. He's done some things really well, and then you notice in some other drills where he's got to put a lot of pressure on that leg, he's a little bit hesitant, but he'll that'll get better and better as it goes along.
How has Navarro Bowman responded to what happened in the spring? How are you pleased with the things that he's done since then?
Yeah, I think he and I had a little session, and I think he got to understand where I was coming from and the whole bit, and I think that he realized that he's wasting a great opportunity in his life. And in all fairness to the kid, he had a lot of bad things happen to him. Lose your father, lose your high school coach, all pretty close to each other, and I think that had a little bit of an impact on him when you're that age. Maybe you start feeling a little bit sorry for yourself, and you compound the problem because you start cheating yourself out of some opportunities you might have. And I think that, but he's been all business. He's had a good semester academically. He had a good summer school session, and I think he's worked hard. He's tried to be a leader, and I think he has been.
Coach, what's the biggest thing that Kevin Newsom needs to work on as he kind of develops in his first year here?
Who?
Kevin Newsom.
Oh, Kevin Newsom's a kid that when he's in high school, he just ran away from everybody. But he's got a strong arm. Doesn't have a great touch yet. And it's what's happened to Kevin is, we're trying to get him to recognize coverages and things like that, and so he can find the open guy. And with the defense, we allow the defense because we don't want to hold them back. So when the offense goes against our defense, the defense can do some things that are going to really make it, hopefully going to make it a little tougher for the quarterback just to go back there and make it, pick out the guy who's going to throw it. So when Kevin does locate the open guy, he feels pretty good about it, then he forgets about being accurate.
Coach, do you find it easier at this time of the year to get out of bed knowing that you're going to be on the practice field every day and not...
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Of course, all spring, I didn't miss any practice in the spring. Didn't use a motor card. I know, that really hasn't been something. The only difference is that I really, right now, because we didn't have pads on, and we're doing a lot of teaching, we're running the practice field longer. We may be out there 2 hours and 25, 2 hours and a half. Ordinarily, once we get closer to a game time, I don't like to be on the field longer than 2 hours. That includes kicking and the whole bit, because I think you end up tiring your kids. So then it'll be a little easier on me. But right now, when I go out that practice field, I'm tired. My legs are tired. I'm tired. I'm not, and I didn't do as much walking as I should have this summer. But I'm fine, except that I get tired quicker.
Coach Paterno, it's an honor and privilege to be able to speak to you. But my question is, what excites you the most about this team and this upcoming season?
I'm excited to be alive. That's about it.
Joe, could you talk about your efforts to find a new kicker? Kevin Kelly's gone. Who are the candidates, and is there a concern that...
Well, we have a kid by the name of Conan Wagner, who's a local kid, walk-on, and he really is he was very close to Kevin last year. He might have a little stronger leg. He's not as, I don't think he's as consistent as Kevin was. But, we'll have to see. But I think he's got a chance. And we brought in a kid from Texas by the name of Ferrer, whose family's originally, again, Philadelphia people. And he's got a strong leg, but he's all over the place right now. We get him down, his footwork down. I think he'll be pretty good.
Knowledge Timmons, he's a guy that's been around for a while. How has he positioned himself in the offseason to maybe achieve some significant playing time in the fall?
Sometimes I don't catch that first name. Who is it?
Knowledge Timmons.
Oh, Knowledge Timmons?
Yeah.
Well, Knowledge has got a lot of potential. I mean, he can run and he's tough and the whole bit. He's just got to get a little bit more poise. He's one of those guys. You got to keep his mouth shut and concentrate on the next play. When we get him to do that, I think it'd be pretty good.
Joe, where does Brandon Ware fit in the defensive line picture?
Who?
Brandon Ware.
Brandon Ware?
Yeah.
Brandon Ware is 20 pounds away from even coming close to being a football player. He's just too heavy. Doesn't have any stamina, but he could be really good. He could be really good, quick, strong, but he's way overweight.
Little off topic here. Kerry Collins has ended up having a real nice run in the NFL. What do you remember about him? And during his career here, could you have foreseen that he would have been this good of a professional quarterback?
The only thing I really remember is Kerry Collins is he had a super spring, great blue-white game, and he came back for preseason practice with a broken hand. And he said he got it in a volleyball game. I said, yeah, and I said, I'm canoe rock me. Oh, I know he's going to be. He had everything. He had everything. He was smart. He was tough. He had the arm. If he had a run, he could run. He had great leadership quality. Hey, that '94 team was as good an offensive football team ever played college football. We averaged over 500 yards a ball game in a pretty good league on it. And we could have averaged 600 yards if we had done what some people like to do. No, that was and Kerry was he's terrific. Bill Polian, who worked for my brother, was assistant coach for my brother, Kings Point. They were on my back about Kerry, and he and the big guy, Mike McCormick, who had been at the Browns with a teammate of mine, Don Cola. They called me about 3 times, and I said, look, would you guys get off my back? So finally they called me the 4th time. And Bill gets on the phone. He said, Joe, he said, look, the last time we'll call you. He said, will you talk to the owner about Collins? I said, what in God's name does the owner know? He said, he just has one question to ask you. So I said, I think his name was Richardson or John, I don't know what that was his name. He gets on the phone and he says, Coach, he says, I have one question I want to ask you about Kerry Collins. I said, go ahead. I said, but one question. I said, he said, will he still want to play when we give him $5 million bonus? I said, well, he's smart, he won't, but... But he was Kerry Collins. He's an angry guy.